I'd like to do a video on my method of mounting the Tusk pilot bag system using the Tusk pannier racks. If you've bought these or you're thinking about buying them, one thing that I can tell you is there's a lot of straps. As you can see here, I've already removed some of these that hold the bag to the rack system. And so anyway, I'm going to show you my version of doing it. There's some other parts you can buy from Rocky Mountain ATV, but thought I'd show you how I do it. So stay tuned. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is let's get these things off here. Couple more straps. So as you can see here, it's the back of the bag here. The straps that go across the seat can be removed, and these straps that go hold the bag to the rack here and here, both sides, these straps can be removed also. So I'm going to take these things apart. This Velcro cover will come off, but we'll be using it back on the install, and we'll go from there. All right, now I've got it apart. There's the back. Straps that we're not going to need. Here's the bag. And inside here, take the liners out. There's a Velcro pocket right here on the back. It's got a piece of corrugated plastic in there. We're going to pull that out, and we'll get started. We'll use this for a pattern, and what I want to use for the backing is picked up some plastic cutting boards. These were at discount store, $8 for 2 cutting boards. I'll give these away as gifts and use this one as my backing plate inside where this came out. So I'll trace this out, trim it up, get it to where to go in there, and this will be inside the bag. It will be the backing plate, and I will be putting bolts through this to the outside, that, and to one of these brackets right here that comes with racks. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll get started. All right, I'm using these are like a 14 by 10 cutting board here, a little thin, probably 1/4 inch or less, 3/16 of an inch. And I'm going to put this up at the top so it don't interfere with cutting. Set my, we'll actually do it this way. Start to keep the bottom even, and we'll offset this way just a little bit. And if you're wondering what size board to get, take this out, take it to the store or whatever, measure, figure all that out for yourself. You might want to get something different. I got what was inexpensive, and we'll work. Trace that out, and I'll get jigsaw, and I'll cut it out. I'll take this outside and cut it out because it makes a little bit of a mess, and I'll be right back. All right, so got them trimmed out there. By the way, you want to get 2 for a set, obviously. And took my grinder and just kind of beveled the edges a little bit. These will be inside the bag, and you don't want them sharp edges to be cut into the material inside the bag. So I just did that, cleaned it up a little bit here with my pocket knife. But anyway, y'all don't need to see how to use grinders and drills and all that kind of stuff. That's why I don't really record that, because if you're doing this kind of stuff, you probably know how to use tools. Anyway, all right, so we'll get these placed in the bag. Well, get one placed in the bag, and then we'll get started with the next step of putting our holes through and getting it ready for the mounting bracket. All right, I've got my board pushed in the pocket. I've got it pushed in all the way to the bottom of the bag. There is some overlap up here, but that's okay. It'll work out fine. Got my backing Velcroed back on. Make sure you line it up good. Make sure it's good and straight where you want it. Once you start cutting holes, you know that's where you're at. So this is the right side. This gray area with these little straps, you can get a bottle holder to put on here. There's a couple accessories, I guess, but I'm putting that towards the front of my motorcycle, so this will be on the right side in the bracket, right hand. I'm going to take that bracket and set it on here. That's the top. That's where the latch goes, and I've sort of predetermined where I want to put this. So make sure you measure, check again, measure. I'm not going to give you any specifics because you may want to do yours a little different than I'm doing mine. All right, so I'm going to get my marker out. Looks like I'm fairly square all the way around. And, all right, I'm going to mark these 3 holes here and these 3 holes on this side. There is a hole in there. You can put one in there if you want to. I'm going to elect not to, but I'll mark this bracket a little bit too, so I can kind of revisit. One thing I will say is you want to try to stay out of this strap right here, and you can get into the webbing back below it, but try to stay out of that strap when you go through. All right, got it marked, and I'll get set up to burn the holes through. What I'm using is this is actually a drive pin. You can use anything similar to that, but it's a drive pin, steel drive pin. I heat it up with my torch here and push that through. You don't have to go all the way through the board, but you want to at least get to the board so you'll know where to drill your board if you want to drill it separately. 6 one, half a dozen the other, whichever way you decide to do it. I've done it both ways, and both ways work fine. So, all right, I'm gonna get set up here, and we'll get a couple of holes burned through. All right, if you decide to burn these holes all the way through, you'll want to put a piece of protection of wood or something inside there, so when you burn all the way through, you go to the wood, you don't go through the rest of the material in the bag. I'm not going all the way through. I'm going to just go to that cutting board and mark it with the burn, or with the melt. So got my torch going. I know you probably can't see the flame on there, but it's going. I'm going to heat up my drive pin. This is a 3/16 drive pin. I'm sorry, 5/16 drive pin. 5/16 drive pin. 3/8 might work better for you. This works fine. So, anyway, see a little bit of that plastic catching where I did previous holes, but all right, once you get that thing hot, and take it where my mark is. I'll turn my fan on here, pull some of that smoke out. Just going to push it down on there. Rotate a couple times. These on the bottom are going through that rubber base also, so you may have to hit it a couple times to get through there. And I can see the cutting board there, so that's far enough. And of course, what this does, not only does it cut your hole, but it also kind of seals those webbing and that fabric in there, so it doesn't fray down the road terribly bad. So, alright, so that's how you do it. Heat it up, push it through. You're going to get some buildup on this pin if you use this pin, or I would recommend something that is hollow. I think it works better than something that's just solid blunt. So you can experiment yourself, but just be careful when you experiment, because you can't go back once you burn a hole through there. We'll do one more, and then I'm going to pause and do the rest of them off video. Put it right over it. Check and see where you're at. That one's a little easier in the middle. There's no webbing there, so it went through pretty quick. And the top ones are a little bit thicker. So the bottom one is very thick because it has this rubber bottom on the bottom of this. And this one's a little less difficult, and then these are pretty easy right here. I'll continue to do this, and I'll be right back with you. All right, got my holes burned through, and got the fan going. When you're doing that, pulls that smoke away from you out the door. I'm not in California, so I think we're good there. So I'm going to reach in here and kind of separate where I melted through that. It'll stick to that board a little bit. We'll pull our board out, and as you can see, I've got marks here that I'm going to use for drilling out. So I'll get these drilled out, get them cleaned up, and we'll start the bolting together process. So that's what you'll have there. Alright, got those drilled out. Take my pocket knife, just kind of go around with a little chamfer on there. Makes it easier to put your screws through. When I was drilling these out, I did use the old, I guess you call it the Waller method, and just kind of moved my drill around while I was cutting them out. And seems to help clean them up and everything. Push the chuck all the way up against the surface, and it'll take some of those burrs off when you're from where you burned it. So anyway, get these cleaned up a little bit here, and that sticky is from where those boards were packaged together. They put that sticky stuff in there. It'll just help hold it in place when I get it all put back together. Alright, so there we go. We'll get this slid in there and get ready to sandwich it all together and bolt it together. Bolts do come with this kit, so they work great. So when you get this slid in there and kind of get it somewhat pieced together, and we'll pick up from there. Alright, so I've got my bolt kit opened up, and comes with them. There's 8 long screws, and then there's 6 of these short screws. You can see the difference here. All right. So when I bolt this together, I'm going to be using 2 washers between the top and the bottom, between this metal on the top and the bottom. right, up here, here. The middle, I'm not going to be using any washers. And because and the reason I'm not is because these short bolts, I've got to use some of these short bolts because I don't have enough long ones to do all of them. Plus, it'll give it a little bit of a bend there. Now, the reason I'm putting washers here is because when you put this bag on, the bar on the mount on the rack goes in here and above here. If you don't put a spacer, if you don't put spacers between here and there, that is almost impossible to get on the rack because you're going to be pushing it down and it pushes this material up and puts it in a bind very tight. So washers are there for spacing, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to put 2 washers here and up here, stack 2 washers. So before you start putting these washers and those bolts in, start with your small bolts first, because you want to make sure you get those in. If you put these outside ones in first, these, in my situation with the board I'm using, the cutting board I'm using, or the backer board, these are too short for me to get in if I space these 2 first. So I'm going to put these in, get nuts on them, have them loose in there. Then I'll get my other washers and bolts in there and spaced out. So we'll just reach in here, and depending on how thick your board is, you may have to put some pressure on it to sandwich it down there. So that one's, I've got the nut started on that one. I'll get another. Now again, you're kind of using your fingertips to get in here because you're inside of that pocket that will seal back up when you're done. And all right, so that started there. I'm just going to leave it loose. I don't want to get too tight because I do have to pry this apart to get those washers in. And you can use like a tool, like for trim and stuff, to kind of space it up. Slide your 2 washers in there. You have to line it up a little bit, screwdriver. And we're going to take the long bolt and we're going to put it in there. Use my ratchet, just kind of push it in place, pull that out. Okay, got it seated down in there. Do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna space it. Couple washers. Kind of straighten them up a little bit. I know this is not a close up, but you guys are smart enough, you get the idea. All right, and I'll do the same thing up here at the top, get all the nuts on, and then we'll get her tightened down. All right, so as you can see, I've got the 2 washers between here and the bracket, between the backing and the bracket. All right, got them on the 2 bottom ones, and I've got them on the 2 top ones here also. No washers in the middle. That's because the bolts that come with the kit are short right here. There's only enough bolts to do 4 holes on each one, and the long bolts. Use your trim tool to pry that up to slide your washers in. Once you get your 2 center ones done first, do them first. And I've got the nuts on the other side. Some of you may wonder why I've got nuts on the inside. Are they going to have an effect on the inside of the bag, material? They very well could, but I can tell you right now, at least on these 2 down here, you would never get anything like this in there, even a L-shaped. I mean, unless you had it cut off short, you could finagle it in there, but it's all you can do to get a offset boxed in wrench. It needs to be more straight, would be even better, and I think I've got a straight one. But anyway, if you feel like that's going to be wear and tear on the inside of your bag, remember you can always slide these pieces of core plastic that came with it. You can slide that in, and the nuts will be up against that. So, but anyway, I'm going to reach in here and get these tightened up, and then we'll be ready to mount it on the back and get us set up for these knobs that came with this, and I'll show you what those are for. That's actually a security thing, but let me get these tightened up, and then we'll get it on the bike and go to the next step. Not using any Loctite or anything on there. That board is flexible, and mashing all this together is probably as good as any kind of lock washer or anything like that. Plus, there's not enough room for any more washers or anything. But so anyway, I'll get this tightened up, and we'll get back to mounting it on the bike and getting it set up for our security knob. Okay, back over here at the bike. And this may be hard to see because a lot of black on black. This is a KLR650. This is my wife's bike. It's actually the S short version, 25 model. But so highly recommend the racks. She's learning on this. She rides a cruiser very well. She's learning on this. And tip it over, lay it over, which is going to happen. This will protect your plastics and everything, so highly recommend the Tusk figure racks. And so here's our bag. Here's the slide that goes in. There's a piece sticking up here that goes in this groove to line you up. And with those washers spacing that, much smoother fit. And we're going to pull the latch, put it in place. A little peck on it there, and you want to always check and make sure that your latch is through the hole. And as you can see, kind of give you an idea, much nicer than all the straps hanging off of it and everything. It's a good firm fit. These straps go across to hold that on, so you got to have those. And then you got a couple straps that holds the top down when it's rolled up. All right, so now what we're going to do is, I'm going to pull this off real quick. Right here, you will find there's a hole in this rack that's threaded. All right. So the ideal is the knob that comes with this knob right here, you can put it on from the inside, and it will go through the backing into this hole, and you can tighten that down from the inside of your bag, and that will keep someone from just walking up and pulling the pin and pulling your bag off. They would have to actually unroll it, open that pocket where this would be, and take it off to get your bag off. I may have just told everybody how to steal bags off of a bike, but either way, now what you'll run into on this, and I'm going to get this all cut out and taken care of, but there again, we're talking about something that's not long enough to go through the backing board and everything I put on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my multi-tool, and I'm going to go right around, even with this surface here, I'm going to go right around, and I'm going to trim this down because this bolt goes all the way down to the top. And this can be cut off, and it'll be just fine. It gives you the same surface down here. It's that same thickness all the way down. It's not molded around the bolt right here, which is great for me because I wanted to use these, but I knew I was going to have to modify them in order to do so. So I'll get these trimmed up. But to know where to put this, I'll be putting my bag back on. All right, let's put the bag back on. In place. The other thing I like to do is to slide it back as far as it'll go. This will also help keep it in that back position, which is the best locked position. And I'm going to take, I know you're not going to be able to see this very well, but I'm going to take a bolt and I'm going to go backwards through that hole and thread that into and up against the back of that bag. So, and I'll score that plastic so I'll know where to burn my hole through or melt my hole through in order to use this right here. So I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna trim this off. I'm gonna run that bolt through and score that bag where it needs to be done, and then we'll get back and show you how it all fits together. All right. All right, I want to show you a close-up of this right here. So I've got that bolt going through the bracket the back way, and I'm just tightening that up until it gets to the bag, and it'll score the back of that bag. Once I got it up against the bag and got it scored pretty good, then I'll just take it back out and I'll show you what it did to the bag there. All right, so got the bolt back out, and there you can see, flip around here. Right there is where it scored the bag, and that's where I'll be burning my hole through. Okay, I got my torch going here. I'm going to put a piece of wood. I'm going to burn all the way through this one, so I'm putting a piece of wood in here. Right here's where my hole's going to be that I'm going to be cutting. I'm going to get that to protect it. I'm going to turn my fan on here so it'll be a little noisy. And I'll start heating up my pin. And we'll get this cut through. We'll do that plastic from earlier burning off. So use all the protective gear you like when doing anything. Disclaimer. Do whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. I'm going to get this one pretty hot because I'm going to be going, I may have to take a couple times to get it all the way through. Alright, line it up, we'll push right through. Went all the way through right there. We'll kind of move it around a little bit, just make sure there's nothing going to impede that knob from coming through. Alright, very good. Turn this off. I wanted to show you real quick. I took my multi-tool and just went right around the base of this, all the way around. Just take your time. And as you can see, that cut right off, nice and smooth. I'll put one of those little star washers that comes with it, and that'll go through inside the bag, come out through that hole, and attach the pannier racks. So I'll get back over there with everything, and we'll get it mounted on there, and look how clean it'll be. Now let's get this installed and show you what it looks like. Again, we'll just place that in there in the groove, and then pull back on our latch, let the pin go through, and always double check, make sure that pin goes all the way in there. I like to get just a little tight and then go back, because that's where we set it for our locking device. Feels good. and go right in here. And there's where I burned the hole through. And we got the modified knob with the washer. I'll put it right through. Lined up very well. Keep turning that knob till it tightens all the way down. Again, this is to keep anybody from just releasing the bag and taking it while the motorcycle's sitting. Just a safety device, or I should say an anti-theft device. All right, so we got that in. We're going to pull our bottom up on our pocket, put the top down and Velcro that up. All right, and these roll right up. I'll tell you what, so there's our liner, waterproof liner that goes in there. It rolls up too. Very nice feature. You can take this right out of here and take it inside if you needed to. It's just nice to have waterproof inside there. So put that in there first. Roll this top up. Get this clipped into place. Again, you can mount these bags without all this and use the straps to strap everything in like it was, and it works fine. For me, it was just a lot of extra straps and stuff. Plus, if you do want to remove your bags, now you remove the knob and it slides right off. Undoing those straps and redoing them, you'll find it is very time consuming. So looks very nice in the fact that you don't have all that strap hanging off. Now you do have, of course, the straps for the top and keep everything secure there. But yeah, how nice that looks without all the extra straps and having to keep up with, because the straps are longer than they need to be, where you can adjust or cut them off where you have to. But so anyway, there you go. I'm going to get the other one finished up and get it installed. This is a 2025 KLR650s, the short version. I did a couple little modifications. This is my wife's bike. She rides a cruiser, and she's starting to learn to ride this. And and right over there's the regular 650. And so there you go. All right, I hope this was helpful to you. No sponsorships or anything like that, just my way of doing bags on our motorcycles. And maybe you can use some of the ideals that you've seen here to put your bags on. And again, thank you for watching, and hope you have a great, blessed day.